There is no hiding the fact that Aston Martin's 2024 F1 season was very disappointing. For the second year running, the team showed that they don't know how to develop a car throughout the season. Over the opening rounds, Fernando Alonso was showing pace to match Mercedes, and that's where the team should have stayed. But by the end of the year, they were losing out to Alpine and Haas and VCARB at times. As Adrian Newey prepares to take on his new role within the team and try to help them mount a title challenge in 2026, Lawrence Stroll has decided it is time to shake things up and try to get some positive performance out of the team. Today, I'll check out the massive changes that have happened in the Aston Martin management structure and how they might help the team find their way. So, don't go anywhere. When I think about Aston Martin's F1 season in 2024, the moment that springs to mind is Lance Stroll spinning on the formation lap in Brazil. Considering the conditions, he could have been forgiven for the mistake, but to then drive into the gravel trap, get his car stranded, and end his race was unforgivable. The Brazilian crowd let their thoughts be clearly known as they chanted the name of Aston Martin's longtime reserve driver, Felipe Drugovich, at Stroll. The fans made it clear they wanted their countryman in the car, not the owner's son. Apart from that one incident, it's hard to remember anything that happened in Aston Martin's season. While Alonso had some good drives, as he always does, nothing sprung out as truly exceptional, but he can hardly be blamed for that. Aston Martin just didn't produce a car capable of anything noteworthy. Stroll Jr. really showed just how little the car improved over the season. You know Alonso will make the most of it, but with Stroll, you know he's never performing above what the car can produce. His 13th place finish in the Drivers' Championship, courtesy of 6 points finishes before the summer break, really highlights how badly the team's car development went. After the summer break, they were well outdeveloped by the rest of the grid. Even Sauber managed to find some speed over the final few races. The gap between the two drivers was as evident as ever in 2024, but Aston Martin team principal Mike Krack believes Lance Stroll is treated unfairly given the criticism leveled at him. Krack explained there is in fact a very small gap between them. That very small gap is not reflected in the points scored or the qualifying head-to-head between the two though. The points tally leans heavily in Alonso's favour in their 2 seasons as teammates, the Spaniard having scored 296 points to 98 for Stroll, and he holds a healthy advantage in their qualifying head-to-head. Obviously, Krack's wages are paid by Lance's father, so he has to back the Canadian driver. His defense of Stroll Jr. hasn't helped him avoid the fallout from having a very disappointing season for the team though. Having stepped in as team principal to replace Otmar Safnauer at the start of 2022, Krack oversaw that incredible start to 2023, but apart from that spike in performance, the team have generally been disappointing. Lawrence Stroll has lost patience with the underperformance and for the 2025 season has made a big reshuffle of the team's management structure. Andy Cowell has been appointed team principal, replacing Mike Krack, who has been given the title of Chief Trackside Officer after just under 3 years in his previous position. To deliver the best race performance, the team's aerodynamics, engineering and performance departments have evolved to become separate, dedicated trackside and AMR technology campus-based teams, with both reporting into Andy, said a team statement. Enrico Cardile, headhunted from Ferrari as Chief Technical Officer, will take charge of factory-based development when his period of gardening leave ends. The AMR Technology Campus-based team will be spearheaded by the team's new Chief Technical Officer, Enrico Cardile, with a team that can now focus 100% of its time on the competitive ingenuity challenge of creating a new race car, said the Aston Martin statement. Enrico will oversee the architecture, design and build of new race cars. Cowell was recruited from Mercedes as Group Chief Operating Officer to replace Martin Whitmarsh last October, so was probably senior to Mike Krack prior to this anyway. What the move has done is remove Mike Krack from the factory entirely, leaving him in charge of just the race operations of the team. It seems that these decisions have been driven by Cowell. In the team's statement explaining the changes, he said, "I've spent the last 3 months understanding and assessing our performance, and I've been incredibly impressed by the dedication, commitment and hard work of the team. With the completion of the AMR Technology Campus and our transition in 2026 to a full works team alongside our strategic partners Honda and Aramco, we are on a journey to become a championship-winning team. These organizational changes are a natural evolution of the multi-year plans that we have scheduled to make, and I'm incredibly excited about the future." That future, of course, is the Adrian Newey and Honda era for Aston Martin. But before I talk about how these changes are going to impact on that new era, if you're enjoying the video and want to catch all the F1 news in the run-up to the 2025 season, then make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to F1 Reverse. Thanks a lot. So Crack is being stepped down to run the race day operations, Cardile will be heading the factory, and Coel is taking the top management position, with both reporting to him. So where does that leave the incoming Adrian Newey, who is a top-quality racetrack engineer and car development expert? It was a superb coup last year when Aston Martin hired Newey after he quit Red Bull. Newey is the most successful designer in Formula One history, as his creations have won 12 Constructors' Championships and 14 Drivers' titles across the last 4 decades. Aston Martin gave 5% of the F1 team's shares to Newey to help convince the 66-year-old to join them. Every Formula One team targeted the Britain's services after Red Bull announced he was to leave, with Aston Martin eventually hiring Newey last September to join on March 2nd of this year. With the changes in the team's management structure, the plan for Newey has become much clearer. Adrian will sit alongside Coel at the very top of the hierarchy structure at Aston Martin, as billionaire Canadian owner Lawrence Stroll continues his bid to make the Silverstone crew a championship-winning team. Coel is going to be doing the day-to-day work of running the F1 team. Cardile will be keeping everything at the factory ticking, and Crack will manage the trackside work. That leaves Newey to act with freedom in the way he sees best to further the team's championship aspirations. That freedom will allow him to focus on what he does best, which is the design work of an F1 car. Newey will have a clear run at whatever his technical vision is for the next generation of F1 cars, unencumbered by the tedious work that a management role can normally involve. He'll be free of time-wasting reporting meetings if he wants to be. He won't have to spend time worrying about what those working under him are doing either. With these moves, they maximize the chances of Adrian being able to hit the ground running when he joins at the start of March, and allow him to just focus on the 2026 regulations. Newey himself has made it very clear that 2026 will be his focus, though Red Bull have hamstrung him slightly. Speaking on the Autocar podcast, Newey said, "So obviously, Aston wants to do the best job they can in 2025, but my main kind of focus will be the 26 regulations and this big change, because I start on March 2nd. The aero rules come out, I think, 1st of January, or it might be the 2nd, whatever the working day is. So I'll already be kind of 2 months behind the curve. But in truth, of course, it's more than that, because not only will I be behind on the looking at those regulations compared to when they've come out, with the way the regulations have gone, you really need to be in front of a CAD system as well to be able to understand all the boxes and so forth. They're so prescribed. But also, it'll be getting to know a new team, getting to know all the guys and girls there and how we'll work together. That March 2nd start date is a disadvantage. He may come in and find that what Aston Martin have spent the first 2 months doing isn't the direction he wants them to be designing in. It will be 2 months that he hasn't been working on the new car. But while Red Bull have denied Aston Martin those 2 months of Newey working on the new car, his contracted gardening leave with Red Bull was meant to be years, not months. So really, they've done the team a favour, allowing him to do any work at all. Do you think the changes at Aston Martin will help them get the best out of Newey? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.